my gosh, I just got a message from Beyonce.
Your phone didn't even ping.
No, silly, telepathically.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
Welcome to my garden. Well, it's not my garden, it's a set actually, but welcome to my set.
You know, it's so funny that you say playing the part of a delusional made-up princess. I am a delusional made-up princess.
You've lived a life with the royal family, you've had everything handed to you, but you say your life has been hard, and now you've written all about it in your new book, Win. So awesome to be here, it's great.
Did you do much beyond Rachel from Suits?
Well, besides Rachel from Suits, I also played Meghan.
Went online to see what was new with Uncle Harry and Auntie Meghan, and I couldn't find a thing. I would have thought she'd have at least popped up in a tampon commercial by now.
2 seconds later.
What happens when royal drama collides with South Park's signature savagery? Meghan Markle may have survived interviews, headlines, and Hollywood cold shoulders, but she wasn't ready for this. An unaired South Park episode has leaked online, and the rumors say it makes their last parody of her look tame in comparison. We're talking deleted punchlines, brutal courtroom spoofs, a trapdoor finale, and satire so sharp even the network panicked. Behind closed doors, executives allegedly debated shelving it entirely. And not because it wasn't funny, but because it might have gone too far. So what exactly was in this mysterious episode? Why did insiders claim the ending was career-cracking? And how did Meghan's own words come back to haunt her in the most humiliating way imaginable? You're about to hear what they cut, what they feared, and why this episode might never see the light of day. And trust us, it's worse than anyone expected.
I don't need to thank you. I am strong enough that I can thank myself. Thank you, Meghan.
You know, it's actually so funny that you keep calling me Meghan Markle. I'm Sussex now.
When I was a little girl, I actually wrote a fairy tale. It was called The Little Girl Who Ran Away to Join the Theater and Did a Play and Then Married a Prince. And that play was called Suits.
Everyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
It's the biggest piece of dog
Before it even had a title, this episode was causing waves behind the scenes. According to multiple insiders, the initial test screening was a total jaw-dropper. Not just for the jokes, but for the tone. South Park has always pushed buttons, but this time, something hit different. One report claimed the room went dead silent after the final scene aired. Not with laughter, not with gasps. Just stunned, slightly panicked silence. A few staffers reportedly exchanged nervous glances. One executive allegedly asked, "Did we go too far?" Keep in mind, this is South Park, the show that's roasted everyone from Tom Cruise to the Prophet Muhammad. And yet, the response to this episode apparently rattled even the show's most battle-tested producers. It wasn't about cartoon nudity or edgy one-liners. It was about tone. One leak said the episode wasn't just mocking Meghan, it was dissecting her. And in doing so, it went straight for pressure points the press usually dances around. Alleged career moves, brand blunders, and even pregnancy rumors were all twisted into one sharp, unrelenting parody. The aftermath? According to one animation assistant, there was genuine talk of shelving the episode entirely. Not because it wasn't funny. It reportedly tested too well. So well, in fact, that higher-ups feared blowback if it ever aired.
Sorry we're late, our flight was delayed.
It was mint, though. Tell them we were in mint.
They gave you a mint.
We were in mint. It's like their business class. It's really nice. And
Meghan, I'm begging you to stop now.
The word indefensible got tossed around. One producer allegedly warned, "If this leaks, we'll never hear the end of it." And that's exactly what happened. Now, the only thing more shocking than the episode's existence is the deleted gag that started the fire in the first place. But that wasn't even the wildest part, because just days before animation was finalized, Trey Parker dropped one line that changed everything. It was during a final table read, just days before locking the script, when Trey Parker reportedly introduced a new closing gag. And it wasn't just clever. According to insiders, it was devastating. The line? A warped echo of Meghan's now famous demand, "Tell the truth." Only this time, it was hurled back at her, twisted into what crew members dubbed the flaming boomerang. Sources claim the animated Meghan character stood on a soapbox, screaming, "Tell the truth," as if rallying a crowd. But the scene flipped when a cartoon version of herself appeared again.
There was one particular tough day. I remember crying. It felt like everything was going wrong. I had just been told that I couldn't trademark the word empathy. The world was against me.
You never had a dream when you were a child to be something everyone else said was impossible?
I wanted to be a princess.
Oh, well, you kind of fucked that up.
Always remember being there with them in spirit, together, looking in those innocent eyes and telling them, "Hello, my name is Meghan."
Follow my lead, Harry. I've been on TV for years, so I'm kind of a pro.
Yes, the very famous show Suits.
Yeah.
This time wearing a crown made of sponsor logos and holding a contract labeled confidential. She shouted the same phrase back at herself, "Tell the truth." Over and over, the two versions of her yelled it, each one more exaggerated than the last. Then came the kicker, a silent beat. The screen cut to black, and in bold letters, whose truth was it? Again? Crew members reportedly howled, but executives? Not so much. Word spread fast. Some called it brilliant satire. Others called it a lawsuit waiting to happen. The joke was too on the nose. Too close to public interviews, private deals, and very real legal tensions. One junior editor allegedly said, "You could hear the oxygen leave the room." Another crew member described Parker's face as calm, like he knew exactly what he'd done. The moment became the heartbeat of the entire episode, raw, risky, and razor sharp. And while the scene never aired, its ripple effects were felt throughout the production. Because once that gag landed, the tone shifted. The gloves came off. The team stopped trying to be subtle.
I remember back to when I was known more for being a renowned actress in my various roles, such as Rachel from Suits, or Rachel from Suits Season 2, and Rachel from Suits Season 3.
Yes, I think I see your point.
But not everyone was thrilled. Because while Trey and Matt were busy dialing up the satire, the legal department was already drafting memos. The moment Parker's boomerang punchline hit the table, South Park's legal team reportedly hit the panic button. What started as creative chaos suddenly became a full-blown legal fire drill. Insiders say the lawyers weren't just uncomfortable, they were alarmed. The script, in its current form, didn't just satirize a public figure. It allegedly poked directly at real contracts, ongoing business ventures, and thinly veiled references to NDAs. One legal advisor even warned, "We're not just tiptoeing the line, we're dancing on it in steel-toed boots." The legal notes came fast and furious. Words like defamation, malicious implication, and likelihood of inferred truth began circulating through production emails. One leaked message read, "If even one of these references is interpreted as real, we're opening the door to litigation."
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
But Parker and Stone weren't budging. According to someone in the writing room, the duo calmly cited their long-standing creative control clause, basically a "you can't stop us" card written into their contract, and they'd used it before. This time, though, the stakes felt different. Network execs reportedly floated the idea of blurring faces, altering voice inflections, or cutting certain jokes altogether. But the creators reportedly refused. "If we pull punches now," one of them allegedly said, "why make the episode at all?" It wasn't just stubbornness, it was principle. For them, satire isn't effective if it's defanged, especially when the target is someone as media-savvy and polarizing as Meghan Markle.
So, do you have any regrets yourself?
Of course, don't we all? Probably my main regret is, the way that everyone else has acted.
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I genuinely just don't believe it, really.
Still, tensions reached a boiling point. By the end of the week, there were emergency meetings, legal drafts redlined beyond recognition, and rumors of outside counsel being consulted. The episode remained intact, but barely. And while the legal team reluctantly stood down, one exec was overheard muttering, "If this leaks, we're toast." But legal threats weren't the only concern, because what came next was a scene so visually chaotic, it left even veteran animators speechless. If there was ever a moment designed to be both absurd and unforgettable, it was the now infamous megaphone mag sequence. Leaked from early animatics, this scene allegedly showed the animated Duchess storming into a neon-lit maternity ward set. Pastel backdrops, echoing applause tracks, and a suspiciously fake baby bump.
Postcard today from your Uncle Harry and Aunt Meghan in LA.
Let me see that. What the hell are they doing in LA anyway?
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
In her hand, a giant hot pink megaphone blaring the line, "Tell the truth about my truth." It wasn't subtle, and that was the point. According to animators, the set was intentionally surreal, filled with cardboard cutouts of brand logos, grinning PR agents, and a wall of mirrors reflecting different versions of Meghan's animated self, each in a different outfit representing a rebrand. The activist, the podcaster, the Duchess, the lifestyle guru. The real kicker? Every time she shouted her signature phrase, the mirrors shattered, only to regenerate seconds later with a new persona. It was satire layered like an onion, a comment on identity, reinvention, and public perception eating itself alive. And then came the most vicious touch. As the scene reached peak frenzy, a malfunctioning teleprompter scrolled the phrase, "Authenticity pending," over and over. At the same time, the animated Prince Harry tried to rush in, but was flattened by a rolling cart stacked with what looked like hundreds of unsold jam jars.
It's a really good platform to promote my brand.
What is your brand?
I'm opening this cylinder now. If you're watching, hit what a ta-da!
It tastes of entitlement, greed, avarice and deception.
It's the biggest piece of dog
The sound engineers reportedly added real glass-breaking audio to drive the joke home. The team called it orchestral satire, an explosive mix of visuals, metaphors, and jabs that left almost no ambiguity about its targets. Crew members said it was the loudest, most unhinged 3 minutes South Park had ever animated. And that's saying something. But the scene wasn't just chaos for comedy's sake. According to one insider, it was a condensed roast of every public pivot she's ever made, and how it always comes back to the brand. And just when it seemed like the bar couldn't get any lower, the team decided to take things to court. Literally. If South Park has ever come close to staging a theatrical satire masterpiece, this was it. A full-blown mock trial, complete with gavel-banging drama, wildly exaggerated witnesses, and a judge who looked suspiciously like Judge Judy in royal robes.
Brought some of my homemade ketchup. I'm coming out with a line of condiment.
We're really taking LA by storm.
Hoping the ketchups and mustards are going to be sold at Whole Foods. Oh, and they're all organic in case anyone was wondering.
We weren't.
The alleged premise? The animated Duchess was being sued by townspeople for emotional whiplash caused by chronic rebranding. Yes, seriously. The courtroom was packed with cartoon versions of confused fans, ex-brand consultants, and even a talking podcast microphone labeled One Season Wonder. According to the leaks, the judge didn't hold back. After listening to a montage of her public statements, each contradicting the last, he pounded his gavel and growled, "Do you swear to spin no more glossy pivots?" The gallery erupted in laughter. And then, as if that wasn't brutal enough, a giant jumbotron descended from the ceiling, playing a doctored viral clip, the Duchess twerking in a hospital gown mid-labor while shouting, "Content is queen." The courtroom audience gasped. This wasn't just comedy. It was an indictment. A spectacle designed to caricature not just Meghan's media moves, but the entire machine behind them. But it didn't stop there. Witnesses were called, including a parody of Oprah wielding a giant tell-all timer, and a fictional Spotify exec sobbing over vanishing deliverables. Every new detail layered on another jab, culminating in a fake line of cross-examination that had the Duchess's cartoon version saying, "I didn't pivot, I evolved commercially." Writers reportedly debated cutting the courtroom scene altogether. It was just that over the top. But Parker allegedly pushed to keep it in, calling it a trial by content.
NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits, which will be set in Los Angeles. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character's struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant.
The end of the segment showed the judge slamming down his gavel once more as sparks flew from an authenticity meter in the corner, declaring with robotic sarcasm, guilty of brand fatigue. But the real gut punch? That came next, when the episode shifted from parody to pure symbolism, slot machines, contract breaches, and a trapdoor that changed everything. Just when you thought it couldn't get more surreal, South Park cranked the satire to 11. According to insiders, the climax of the episode took place under flickering courtroom lights, when a massive Monte Carlo-style slot machine descended from the ceiling, spinning like destiny itself. But this wasn't your average casino gag. Each reel featured tiny Netflix logos, dollar signs, Oprah silhouettes, and sparkling brand icons. The cartoon Duchess stepped up confidently, yanked the lever, and chanted her now signature phrase, "My faith is greater than my fear." And then, disaster. The machine didn't spit out a jackpot. Instead, the reels landed on 3 rogue symbols: a crown, a corgi, and a Union Jack. An air raid-style alarm blared, red lights flashed, and a robotic voice screamed, "Contract breach detected." In seconds, a massive red stamp marked "Revoked" slammed onto the screen. The slot machine collapsed, shaking the animated courtroom. A trapdoor opened beneath Meghan's cartoon feet, ironically labeled "Pending," and down she went in a flash of glitter and broken ambitions. No words, just a long, echoing thud. It was cruel. It was excessive. And it was South Park at its most merciless. But they weren't done yet. Because what came after the credits? That might have been the darkest gag of all. If everything before was a roast, the post-credit sting was a slow-burn gut punch, and reportedly so savage that some animators doubted it would ever make the final cut.
Is it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? So you hate journalists. That's right. And now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. So you're a journalist.
The scene opens in a dimly lit Montecito kitchen, instantly recognizable from the Duchess's Instagram posts. Cartoon Harry, disheveled and sweating, is desperately frosting an absurd mountain of jam jars while mumbling into a broken podcast mic. But every word he says, censored on screen with the message, "Content pending legal review." And then it happens. An elderly corgi waddles in, wearing a tiny headset and dragging a dusty tape recorder. It's unmistakably a nod to the late queen, or at least her legacy. The corgi hops up, hits play, and out comes Meghan's real voice, lifted from one of her most quoted interviews. No editing, no satire, just her own words, looping. It's quiet, uncomfortable, devastatingly effective. And with that, the screen fades to black. But was that really the end? Or just the beginning of a bigger message? While the episode's gags were loud, flashy, and ruthless, the real sting came from what wasn't shouted. It was whispered beneath the chaos. Insiders say that tucked between the punchlines and parodies was a pointed question South Park wanted viewers to ask themselves: how much of celebrity truth is real, and how much is just marketing?
Sorority girl, actress, influencer, victim. Yeah, that's totally me!
The exaggerated courtroom, the collapsing slot machine, the jam jars. They weren't just cheap shots. They were metaphors, calling out what the creators allegedly saw as a manufactured identity, built on PR pivots and viral moments rather than anything grounded. And it wasn't just Meghan in the crosshairs. The episode reportedly skewered the entire Hollywood machine. Opportunistic platforms, corporate deals disguised as personal missions, and a fame economy built on curated vulnerability. This wasn't just character assassination, it was brand assassination. One source close to production even claimed, "It's not about Meghan, it's about what Meghan became, a product trying to pass for a person." The episode ended, not with a final joke, but a quiet screen showing a single phrase, "Truth tours end when the spotlight fades." And that's what truly hit hardest. Not the parody, but the eerie silence that followed it. Because when even a cartoon stops laughing, it means something's shifted. So, did South Park really go that far? Did Meghan get animated into a trapdoor-ending courtroom disaster, complete with corgi judges and collapsing slot machines? Or is this all just internet wildfire, fueled by leakers, whispers, and a studio that refuses to confirm, but also never denies? What's undeniable is this. When even rumors of a parody can shake PR teams, trigger legal reviews, and spark global debates, it says something about the power of satire and the spotlight's cost. Whether the episode ever airs in full or quietly disappears into the vault, one thing's certain: South Park aimed higher, sharper, and colder than ever. And this time, the punchline might have landed harder than anyone expected. But hey, until Trey and Matt speak up or drop another bombshell, all we've got are the leaks. And a very loud silence from the top. Now it's your turn. Do you think South Park went too far or not far enough? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're into unfiltered storytelling, cultural takedowns, and the chaos behind the curated, hit that subscribe button.